Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be talking about IBIO as an update. You'll find my previous DD in the description below if you'd like to watch that one after this one here. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, subscribe, and leave your notifications on. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. I'm going to go through technical analysis and then latest news from this my previous video. And then I'm going to go through what I think about the stock and how it probably play. So let's jump right into it. And you get to see on the MACD here, it seems that it has probably... Well, on the MACD's bottomed out on the 13th, and then did see a little bit of almost a reversal, and then bottomed back again somewhere around the 21st. And you get to see that that reversal is seen to be sometime soon as well. How soon we're talking about? We're probably talking about as early as next week. Although on the actual chart, it sees a bit more of a bullish kicker twice, so that is a good sign here. Now the next thing we're looking at is on the average directional index. It doesn't show a strong trend in terms of that. On the billion percent R, it's sitting in at neutral, coming in very close to oversold at this point. And momentum seems to be a little bit sloppy, still under zero, but still pulling up again. In terms of volume, here's a little bit of a bad sign. I usually don't go through volume analysis, but once you have a high volume on the first day and then a lower volume on the second day, and the candle is basically almost like an inverted, it's like a doji star. That looks a bit bearish to me, and what it signifies that there's a little bit of loss of interest on this stock. And I'll explain exactly why I think this might pull through that way. Stock is not in the trading action zone, but if it does poke to the trading action zone, it has a high chance of negative reversal. Trading action zone currently sitting between 233 and 303. You get to see it did test it twice, once yesterday, and then it got a negative reversal, and once today, and it got a negative reversal. Stock price is still above 200 SMA, which is bullish, but it's still under the 50 SMA. 30 SMA is above 10 SMA, so that is as well bearish. Moving on towards the 1 hour perspective, we get to see that the stock price is above the 50 SMA bullish, under the 200 SMA bearish. 10 SMA is above the 30 SMA bullish. The stock is in the trading action zone where reversals are likely, depending where it comes from. Stock price is under the VWAP, and that's bearish. ADX shows in a little bit more of a sloppy with a chance of a trend forming, but still more sloppy. Billion percent R seems to be a little bit more towards the oversold situation, towards neutral, and momentum seems to be a little bit more stable when we had it before, but still quite down. On the MACD here, we get to see that the MACD is possibly curving upwards, but it's still negative, and it doesn't show that kind of sign at any kind of given situation here. The moving average band is sitting in between 296 and 354, although I don't expect that this stock would see that kind of price in the next day or so. Most likely what's going to happen is the moving average band will continue dipping. On the unbalanced volume, it has received the exact same amount of unbalanced volume as we've seen on the 6th of August, although on the 6th of August, the price was almost double this one. So you do expect, if it has seen that kind of unbalanced volume but did not see that kind of price action, you might be a little bit in trouble there. Now moving on towards Fibonacci retracements and significant supports and resistances. We're going to draw it quickly right on here. You get to see a resistance at 254 on that sense. What we're going to do quickly is going to do 3 months 1 day. Try to identify better that Fibonacci retracements. And we're seeing right about here, you get to see the resistance on Fibonacci retracement is at around 280. Now what we're going to be doing quickly is try to establish supports and resistance, and then go through institutional values. Right on, if we put 161.8 on the 745, we get to see the support on Fibonacci retracement is at 225. 280 still stands for resistance. Current support is 226, I would say, or 228. That seems to be the current support, and then below that 223, below that $2. Below that, we're seeing around $1.98, $1.90, and then at 183, and then we're seeing somewhere around 161, and then below that 140. Now, coming in towards where resistances are, you get to see a 241, 249, 260, and then above that, we're seeing around 268. Moving on to institutional purchases, and you get to see on the 25th, there has been, on the 24th, has been quite a bit. BlackRock has added a bit more into their capital fund index. That's a new position for them on that specific capital. But just to be noting that BlackRock incorporations had shares since the 14th. That's more about index. So additional to these kind of institutional values is not more of institutional investors, but rather than ETF and funds. So that's a bit more of around the difference. So this is like a trust fund over there, BlackRock's Series fund. So it's not more that they're seeing in institutional analysis are there and more of an interest, more of a collective funds that usually gather a bunch of different shares from different companies. Even nonetheless, it's still a positive sign. Now, there is a lot of talking about, this one here is working on their COVID-19 vaccine using plasma. There's a little bit of off news there because I've gone through the presentation and pipeline for quite a little. I don't see it per se towards plasma, but they did have a bit of more of history with plasma, working with plasma. But their COVID-19 vaccine seems to be a little bit different than what I would say working with straight on plasma, but rather by antigens and kind of protein vaccine rather than plasma. So that's a little bit of an interesting thing just to note out. I did notice as well that there's been a lot of push and pumps from quote unquote Twitter gurus on this one stock. So my fear is that kind of push or that kind of forcefulling it from this kind of stage would a little bit slow down that kind of recovery, because you don't want to pump and dump on the recovery from decline, because then you would see the $1.40 a little bit too fast. So overall, this company has a lot of opportunities, a lot of growth rate, whether COVID-19 play or, for instance, into their actual product lines for farming or biology enhancements. It has a lot of potential. The main thing is that it still hasn't seen officially a reversal on technical analysis point of view. And so what I want to see is that it doesn't get rejected a reversal just due to some pumping out there. It's definitely a strong play. It's definitely a little bit of an interesting play. If I had shares, I would definitely hold on to it just a little with a stop limit. That's very important because I do expect that we probably will see one more green day and then a pullback. How far that green day is, I'm unsure exactly because it doesn't give me that kind of indication on this level, but I do expect a little bit of a pullback that could be very dangerous. So whether I would consider buying it at this exact stage, the risk here is quite high, but of course you get to see that the stock hires are a lot, the reward is a lot bigger than the risk. So the reward on this one is, we're talking about, let's say $2 to almost $8, 400%. The risk is that you lose 50%. So there is a bit of an increase there, but just because of the risk analysis, I do expect this one to see another green day before seeing a pullback, but a reversal is not due until next week. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and you have a wonderful day.